Grace, Max, we initially planned for this interview to happen right there in your home in Tassie, but of course COVID put paid to that. So tell me, what have I missed out on?
We did cubist portraits of each other recently, so portraits in the style of Picasso. They're basically like photographs of each other. They're so good.
I think I need to see these.
I should never have mentioned that. I take it all back.
Max, can you tell me how you and Grace met?
Oh, I'll probably start tearing up, I reckon. But we met over a year ago now on a running app called Strava.
I'm not a fan of those terms like soulmate or, twin flame or whatever, but I can genuinely say that Max is my soulmate. The first night that we met, we were already finishing each other's sentences, and I moved into your house like 2 weeks after we met.
And for you, Grace, given the trauma that you went through as a teenager, was it difficult for you to trust men again?
The biggest hurdle for me has been, or the biggest challenge for me, I should say, has been learning to trust myself again. I might present as strong, but I have days where, I don't feel very strong, that's for sure.
Some days are better than others.
Yeah, but Max is here.
2021 Australian of the Year is Grace Tame.
Yes, discussion of child sexual abuse is uncomfortable, but nothing is more uncomfortable than the abuse itself. So let us redirect this discomfort to where it belongs, at the feet of perpetrators of these crimes.
What did Scott Morrison say to you as the new Australian of the Year, away from the microphones and away from the cameras?
His words to me were, "Gee, I bet it felt good to get that out." I was surprised that it wasn't accompanied with a paternalistic pat on the head. There's actually a photograph of that exact moment, and the look on my face says it all. It was something like that. I think that was my reaction. What? I did feel a bit uncomfortable.
So when you were announced Australian of the Year, do you think Scott Morrison had any idea what was about to be unleashed?
I don't think any of us had any idea about what would follow that moment. Certainly nobody could have predicted Brittany Higgins so bravely coming forward and sharing her story and helping to ignite the conversation even further.
Last month, the government released its national strategy to prevent and respond to child sexual abuse.
It's a commitment to keep our children and our young people safe.
Grace admits having a conversation with Ben Morton, the Assistant Minister responsible for the National Office of Child Safety, but says claims she was consulted about the recommendations are simply wrong.
We couldn't really believe it. And then there was a suggestion that I had been invited to participate in a consultation workshop, and I spoke to Ben, and he admitted to me on the phone that the consultation process for this national strategy was 2018 and 2019. It had already been developed.
And it wasn't the fact you're upset that you weren't invited, you were upset because...
I wasn't upset that I wasn't invited. I was upset that I was thrown under the bus, and then I was upset that I was positioned as being really involved, which is untrue.
Recent events and her own experience have motivated Grace and Max to form the Grace Tame Foundation.
If this was the Wizard of Oz, I'd just be the front man and Max is behind the scenes doing all the mechanics.
I was just waiting to see who was the lion and who got to wear the red shoes.
I'll wear the red shoes.
Yeah, Max wears the red shoes.
Equality is a great thing. So, Grace, tell me, what are the goals of the foundation?
The ultimate goal is to end child sexual abuse. One of the things that we're looking to do is get an agreement between each of the jurisdictions that govern the issue of sexual assault on legal definitions like consent, grooming, sexual intercourse, the age of a child and the age of consent to sex.
It's hard to explain just how hard Grace has worked, like every single day, constantly. I think I'm allowed to say that it's taken quite a personal toll on her as well. But she's, just kept going and going, and yeah, so proud of her.
What's it like being in a relationship with a woman of such a formidable intellect? Does she win all the arguments?
No, there's no arguments. I know if I am going to question something, I've got to be well prepared because she is sharp as a tack and has an incredible memory. So
I was going to ask you, what's the one thing you would change about her, but is that it?
no, I wouldn't change that about her. No, wouldn't change anything.
I wouldn't change a thing about Max.
Oh,
Except for putting the toilet seat down.
Except
sometimes.
for putting the toilet seat down.
But look,
thank you, Grace. Thank you, Max.
thanks,
Thank
Lisa.
you.
What a shining light in a horrible year for this country, and to keep fighting that fight and not be muzzled, to not be shouted down, it must be exhausting, you know. And it's not the first Australian of the Year we hear say that it comes at a cost being Australian of the Year. We hero these incredible Australians, and then it's a tough year for many of them.
Yeah, that moment where she says like she has days where she doesn't feel strong, there's a lot behind that, which is not really our business.
No.
But it's important, I think, for us to register that.
We just see her as a hurricane, don't we?
Yeah.
There's somebody who's just so strong and just doing so much good stuff that you see that there's some vulnerability there as well.
Yeah.